Mom Sam, who's also not here tonight. I'd like to share a story that I think illustrates the trials and tribulations of our season perfectly. It was our second game, home game, at Fountain Valley High School. We were playing a team, Aliso Niguel. Now, I'm extremely nervous because it's one of my first games as a coach. They're extremely nervous because it's one of their first games as players. And the game starts. And immediately the other team gets out to a substantial lead. And they keep scoring and they keep scoring. And by the end of the first half, the score was 27-2. I'm extremely embarrassed at this point. The players are extremely embarrassed at this point, and I'm wondering, how am I going to change my first impression here at Fountain Valley High School? Can't be this. So I send the team to the locker room, and I make them wait about a minute before I show up. I barge into the locker room doors, and I just stare at them for a couple of seconds. And hopefully, I then begin what they'll remember as a very memorable halftime speech. The last thing I said to them, though, is the message that I hope stays with them forever. I said, you can't control what happens to you in life. We're down by 25 points. We can't change that. We can only control how we respond to what happens. Let's go back in that gym, and let's show everybody watching, those who support us and those who don't, how Fountain Valley plans to respond. And then something happened. I saw the twinkle in their eyes. They changed, and I knew we were ready to play. We went back out onto the floor for the third quarter. It was a different ballgame. We tied the game. We cut the 25-point deficit, and at the end of the third quarter, I see the referee marching towards me. I thought I was in trouble. He asked me, he says, what in the world did you tell your players at halftime? I told him that I said to respond. And that's exactly what they did. The fourth quarter begins. And the lead starts switching back and forth. And with about 7 seconds left, we were down by 3. And it was their ball. The opponents had the ball. Now, Kareem Madkour had been very defensively aggressive the entire game. So I looked at him and I said, Kareem, go get me a steal. We need the ball. That's exactly what he did. When they inbounded the ball, he pounced and he got control and possession of the basketball. We immediately called timeout. And from the corner of my eye, I saw Coach Peterson suggesting a play that we should run for the last possession of the game. So that's exactly what we decided to do. And I was looking in the huddle when I called the timeout to see who I would give the ball to. There was only one player who looked at me in a way that said, give me the ball. That was Corey Nguyen. Here's a young man who never shies away from any adversity, who, when the moment calls, he demands that his name be called to step up for the moment. And his name was called at that moment. So we run the play to perfection. Corey gets a very good look at the basket. He takes a good shot, and it goes in and out, and we lose the game. However, although we lost the game, I still consider that we were successful that night. And I know for a fact, when Corey gets another chance to knock down a game-winning shot, it's going in. And he knows that too. And I hope the message that my team takes from that game in our season, and the message I'd like to convey to you, is in a competitive environment, and life is full of them, winning is always important. But true success comes when winning is not the final and direct goal. Because you can't control victory. You can only control how much of yourself you're willing to give in the pursuit of victory. So the goal should be to live up to your own personal best. That's the standard I hope they carry and hold themselves accountable for the rest of their lives. And I hope and I think that that's exactly what they're going to do. And I'd like to give away some coaches' awards now. Our team captains this season were phenomenal. And the first one, Corey Nguyen, he was a vocal leader of our team. And anytime our team needed to hear something, whether it was words of encouragement or, getting in people's faces to get them going a little bit, he was always there for his teammates. That's why Corey Nguyen was one of our captains this season. Our other captain was Mu'min Muhammad. And the reason he was the captain is because he always led by example. These two kids, they really complemented each other well. While Corey was the vocal leader, Mu'min didn't say much, but his actions spoke volumes. He was always the leader by example. He always showed his teammates what it looked like to play aggressive and hard basketball. That's why Mu'min was the second captain. Our most improved player is a young man who started off on the bench, but he worked his way up to, towards the end of the season, he was a consistent starter for our team. He's a young man who, when I would give correction, when I would give instruction, I'd never have to repeat myself. I'd say it once, he'd make the proper corrections, and it really showed in his overall game. That's why Ron Hansen is the most improved player this season. I also have 3 coaches awards to give out. The first one goes to a young man who never complained, even though he didn't get the most amount of playing time this season. He always practiced hard, he always gave his best, and he always prepared his teammates for the games. And that's why, Anthony Dang, I'm very proud that you're going to get the coach's award. These players that are getting coaches awards, all pretty much for the same reasons, that their work might go unrecognized in the stat sheet, but their influence is very important and was extremely important for the success of our team. They never complained. They always did what the coach asked for, and even more than that. And that's why Neil McHenry and Omar Makour are going to get the second and third coaches awards. Our record this season was 9-13, but we achieved success, I believe, because we held ourselves accountable to our own personal best, and we were able to do that consistently throughout the entire season. I'm very proud of you guys. Thank you very much, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.